Welcome back, Princeton, Elijah, and Ivy. This week we are covering Psalms 24, but before we do, I promised that I would give the answers to last week's questions from Psalms 23. Remember, our first question from Psalms 23 of last week was, what does it mean for God to be our shepherd? And how does he take care of us like a shepherd cares for his sheep? And way we can remember that, I'm sure you and your parents discussed it, but in biblical times, a shepherd's job was to guide, protect, and provide for the sheep. Sheep are dependent on the shepherd for food, water, and safety, for everything, just as we are. The same way, God cares for us by providing for our needs, leading us to the right direction, protecting us from harm. He watches over us and ensures that we are safe, just as a shepherd does his flock. Question number two. How how can you think of a time when you felt God guiding or protecting you? This is individual, and how did that experience help you trust him more? And basically, this answer can be based upon your personal choices, but I'm just going to give you a few examples, just from myself. I know that when I felt like, I was in danger, just knowing that God was my shepherd, I knew everything was going to work out in the end. But feeling a sense of peace and protection during a difficult situation is how you can, express how you felt knowing that God is guiding you. Um, Also, being guided to make the right decision when you're faced with a tough choice. Receiving unexpected help. Somebody coming and helping you and providing provisions when you need it the most. That's a way that you can know and develop more trust in God as a result of that experience. The third and final question that we had last week is, how can we find peace in difficult situations knowing that God is always with us? And one of my answers would be, we can find peace by remembering God's promises in the scripture, such as in Psalms 23, which assures us that he is leading and protecting us. Also, praying and talking to God about our worries helps us feel his presence and comfort. Then, another way is trusting that God has a plan and he will never leave us, even in the darkest times, and gives us confidence and removes all fear. And lastly, focusing on gratitude, thinking about all the ways God has been faithful to us in the past. That will help us remain hopeful in the present. Okay, so today we are going to be reading Psalms 24. And Psalms 24 is talking about the glory, the King of glory, the King of glory. And this is also a Psalms of David. David says, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and those who dwell in it. That says everything. If you're wondering who's in control, if you're wondering what's going to happen, if there is any doubt in your mind who's in control, you might hear a lot of adults talking about things that make things seem uncertain. Don't worry, babies. The Lord, the earth is the Lord's. And when we say the fullness thereof, we're talking about everything in creation, this whole world, and everything that dwells in it. It's God's. And how? What did he founded it on? For he founded it upon the seas and established it upon the rivers. Who shall ascend to the hill of the Lord? Who can, who shall stand in his holy place? He who has clean hands and a pure heart, who does not lift up his soul to what is false and does not swear deceitfully. If you want to dwell in the presence of God and ascend to that, what they say, secret place with him, you have to make sure that your hands are clean, meaning that you keep them from doing evil. Don't do evil with your hands. And make sure your heart is pure. Having a pure heart means you're not harboring any ill towards someone. You're not plotting and planning to do something to hurt someone. And you're not lifting your soul up to what's false. You're not being false and deceitful. You're not lying. And he will receive blessing from the Lord. The person whose heart is clean and heart is pure and hands are clean, he's going to receive blessings for the Lord and the righteousness from the God of his salvation. Such is the generation of those who seek him, who seek the face of the God of Jacob. Selah. Selah means a rest. So remember, we know David sings these. So when you see Selah, it's like a pause. Verse number 7 says, lift up your heads, O gates. That's why I tell you guys, keep your heads lifted up. Stay focused on God. Don't hold your head down. Don't be so weary. Whatever you're going through, God will take you through. Lift up your heads, O gates, and be lifted up, O ancient doors, that the King of glory may come in. Come on now, lift up so God can come in. Who is the King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty. The Lord mighty in battle. Whatever your battles are, he gonna win them for you because he's strong. Lift up your heads, O gates, and lift them up, ancient doors, that the King of glory may come in. Who is the King of glory? The Lord of hosts. He is the King of glory. Selah. Isn't that a beautiful Psalms? Just the thought of that. Just the thought of that. So we have God as our security, and our discussion questions for this Psalms. Well, first I'm going to give you the scripture, the memory verse for this week. This week is going to be verse number 1. Psalms 24:1 is your memory verse. The earth is the Lord's and everything in it, the world and all who live in it. I'll say it again, Psalms 24:1. The earth is the Lord's and everything in it, the world and all who live in it. That's the scripture I want you guys to remember for next week. And here are the questions. And again, we will have the answers to the questions in next week's Bible study, but I will just provide the questions this week for you and your parents to discuss. The first question is, what does Psalms 24:1 teach us about God's ownership of the world and our responsibility in it? Question number 1. What does Psalms 24:1 teach us about God's ownership of the world and our responsibility in it? Question number 2. According to Psalms 24, verses 3 through 4, what qualities does God desire in those who seek him? And how can we apply them in our daily lives? Again, according to Psalms 24, verses 3 through 4, what qualities does God desire in those who seek him? And how can we apply them in our lives daily? And the third and final question for the day is, Psalms how does Psalms 24:7 verse through 10 describe God as the King of glory? And what does that mean for how we worship him? Again, How does Psalms 24, verses 7 through 10, describe God as the King of glory? And what does that mean for how we worship Him? May God continue to richly bless you guys, and I look forward to our Bible study next week. Again, I want you to submit any of your questions or any further questions or concerns that you have about the lesson or about any question that you want asked. Submit it in the comments, and I'll make sure that when we have our Thursday real talk where we do our Q&A, that I'll answer your questions. May God richly bless you, and I look forward to our next session, and have a blessed week. And parents, be encouraged that your children are going to be strong. They're going to be strong in the might of the Lord, because by you having them come to this Bible study and study along with them, you're not only just telling them to put God first and to make room for God, you're showing them. And that is going to be lasting. May God richly bless you. Have a great week. See you next week.